We're going to be hearing some new music with your debut album, Cloud Parade, here on the
Yes.
26th.
Yep.
This is such a beautiful album. I got a chance to check out some of the tracks on it already. Where
Thank
does
you.
the idea for a Cloud Parade come from?
Well, for the title,
Yes.
the title actually was it's a nod to one of my mentors who would go every once in a while with his daughter every time there was really nice clouds here in Los Angeles, which is not every day. And they would go and they would witness the cloud parade, and they would go and lie on a hill and
Mm-hmm.
see if they could see different animals in the clouds. And I just really thought that it was just a beautiful image. I liked it, and it seemed to me a metaphor for reality if you're choosing to uh, encounter reality as an artistic thing, which I think that's a choice we have the opportunity to make, but isn't necessarily a given. And when I remember that I live in a constantly unfolding creative reality, then that's when I feel like I'm participating in the cloud parade. And so, yeah, I like it.
I do think this is a wonderful artistic exploration for you as well. What made you decide now was the time to dive into music?
I feel like I put it off for as long as I possibly could. I had a teacher who, she was an acting teacher years ago, and I made a mistake of playing some music for her. And then ever since that day, she was on my case about like saying, when are you going to do this? You're just being a coward. You're just afraid. And it's true. I think as an actor, we can hide behind the artifice a little bit, and like it's other people's words, and it's our translation. So it's very much a collaborative thing. Whereas the music, it's all you, and it's sort of your stuff you write in the basement with a little guitar in the middle of the night, and
Mm.
it takes a step to say to the world, okay, here it is, and it's for you now. And what I didn't expect was that there's actually a bit of a cathartic experience doing that, because it all of a sudden didn't have to be about what I thought about the music, which frankly really goes up and down all the time, depends on the day. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I'm like, I don't like it. I think that's any artist is going to have a relationship with their creations. But now that I'm actually releasing it, there's a bit of a you can kind of cut the cord a little bit and allow the thing just to exist on its own, and it's not about me. It's about whoever the listener is and the experience they're having with it, and I like that.
What's your songwriting process then? Do you need to have music before you can come with lyrics, or do the lyrics speak to you first, and then you find a beat that you feel like this speaks to me?
It's interesting. I think I really like the spoken word, and I've been written poetry for as long as I can remember. But my poetry and my music is completely separate, and music always starts with the chords first. And I feel like it's a process of excavation where I'll start with the feeling that's created by the intervals of the chords, and it's whether it's a minor or a major or the winding path, and I will use that feeling I have to illuminate the sort of free association of a melody and things that I'll put on top of it, and then eventually words will start to form, and then only then will I start to learn what the song is about. And because of that, I really feel like it's an opportunity to let my subconscious speak to me. And I find that if I sit down and try to write a song about a specific topic, it ends up feeling kind of contrived. And so this way, it's yeah, it's more of an exploration, and it's a very exciting aha moment when I realize, like, wow, this is what I was saying all along, or like maybe I was off by a syllable, but all of a sudden the whole thing crystallizes and unlocks. And yeah, and usually the feeling I have that's created by the chords is I'm searching for chords that match a feeling that is something somewhere inside me, and so I'll use that to work out, try to parse out what's happening in the murky place inside the psyche, and let it out and let it be artistic, which is something that other people can benefit from too.
When it came to Cloud Parade, how much of a hand did you have with the production aspects of the songs on it?
I was in there every decision was ultimately my decision, but we I worked very closely with a producer named Justin Glasgow, who's a good buddy of mine. He's from Berkeley and Berkeley educated musician, and he's very knowledgeable and definitely elevated this record. And I was glad to have his help. But he was also very clear that this was my record, and so
Good.
kind of any idea that I had went, and the harmonies and things, I sang them all and played any instrument on there that I could handle, and the things that I couldn't handle, like I don't know how to play the cello. So we brought in some session musicians to play some of those more exotic instruments, which I think really benefits the music as well. And we made the decision to have all the instruments on the record in the room. So there's no programmed kick drums or anything like that. No digital element beyond the mixing and stuff.
Well, I have to say, I think Cassiopeia is a song that really is just a favorite of mine. It really is sweet and I feel like it's soothing, but also upbeat at the same time. Do you have any personal favorite tracks off of Cloud Parade?
Yeah, I mean, each one of those songs I worked so hard on for so long, so they've all went through the course of being my baby for a time. I think when I listen to the record through, the whole through line of the record is important to me. Like listening from the beginning to the end, I think is a much different experience than just picking a track. But I personally am really partial to the final track on the record, which is Rodeo, which is one of my older songs, and I wrote it um, basically for my grandmother who was passing away at the time, and the message of the song is really sort of uh, a desire to want to get to the meat of life and really go on the adventure and be part of it and uh, it, there's one line that says, "I will burn with the flame," which is sort of like don't worry about me. I'm gonna be fine. And as it turns out, she was actually listening to that song when she passed. So it's just a very personal song for me, and it's a really beautiful way to end that record. And the way we did it with the production has sort of had a long extended ending to it, which sort of was a metaphor for passing over, which was in parallel with my own artistic journey about passing the thing forward. And so, yeah, I have feelings.
Talk about the story then behind the single Freedom Waits for No One.
Um, Freedom Waits for No One is it's I think it's the most theatrical song I have in that it definitely ends in a different place than it starts. And so there's sort of I'm sort of making up my mind in that song, and it starts with wanting to try to preserve a relationship that is um, that that is out of reach, and it's sort of the like if Cassiopeia is the opening of that chapter, Freedom Waits for No One is sort of the closing of that chapter, and it's also one of the angstiest songs that I've ever written, and I think I took advantage of having the full weight of a band and the full studio production uh, to really explore some of those stronger emotions, which normally I'm writing kind of prettier folk songs potentially, and so it's nice to blow it all open. But I definitely am making a decision in that song to take my power back. It's hard to talk about because that's why you write a song is when words fail, you got to use the music. So I also want to keep it open enough that audiences can take whatever they're going to take from it, which I think is one of the beautiful parts of music.
There aren't any collaborations on this album here. Do you have anyone that you would love to work with in the future?
Well, I would love to work with anyone actually. Like I love collaborating. I think music is one of the most beautiful collaborative mediums. And I did there are a few friends of mine that I brought on this record to sing harmonies with me. Jada Kelly is an amazing Canadian folk artist. Colleen Dauncey as well, and a songbird named Lucy Clearwater, who you should pay attention to. She's going to be great. It's going to be huge. They all were lovely and took the time to be on the record, and that's exciting for me.
What do you hope then listeners take away when they do get to check out Cloud Parade?
What do I hope listeners take away? I made an effort with this record to explore some of the parts of myself that were maybe not public facing, and to try to be honest with myself. And so, beyond just having a nice sonic experience and go on the ride with the record, I'm hoping that it will open up the space for people to feel themselves. And I'm always banging on about this idea that the deeper down you go, the more similar we all are.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that it gives people an opportunity to just feel the sameness and maybe recognize themselves and be soothed. There's some soothing songs. There's some get up and go songs. There's some road songs. It's a grab bag, but hopefully the through line is that there's heart in it and people can feel that.
How do you plan to celebrate the release then on the 26th?
Well, I am going to be announcing a special surprise that I've been working on. And it's an artistic project that I've been working on, and I've sort of been teasing it on my socials and taking audiences through the creation process. And I think that what's really important to me is continuing to expand this sort of bright world experiment in all directions, whether it's visual art or whether it's video collaboration or whether it's the music or anything else. And so it's nice to have that lateral kind of mobility, because I don't really know like people always ask me, are you an actor or are you a musician? And I don't really know how to answer that. And I would
You're both.
prefer not to. I think it's all the things. It just depends on what's taking the fancy at that time. So I'm celebrating the release of one form of art with the announcement and release of another form of art, which I think is really cool. I plan to keep doing that, keep leapfrogging everything, and there's some exciting stuff coming up next year.
Good. Have you been busy working on any film projects or TV series in the near future?
Yeah. I have a CBS movie coming out on December 19th, which is called Christmas Takes Flight, and it's a pretty classic Christmas rom-com, but I haven't played a character like this before, so I'm excited to take my swing. I'm a little bit more of like the Grinch kind of character, not with a green face or anything like that. But,
yeah, I figured.
someone
you just
who
meant the grumpier.
Yeah, somebody who needs to get won over to the Christmas side. So I'm excited to see how that goes over. I haven't seen it yet, but it's always exciting to see a movie that you've been a part of. And there's a couple really exciting films coming out next year. One is called Blonde, which is about Louis, I automatically start talking about Louis XIV. It's called Blonde. It's about Marilyn Monroe, and it's going to be on Netflix. And Brad Pitt's company made that, and it's going to be a big movie. I was really fortunate to be a part of it. And did another period epic film, which I believe will come out next year. And as far as shooting stuff, I'm starting a short film in a week or so, which is all under wraps right now, but I'm excited about that. And I will be releasing some film content of my own as well.
Nice. You're a part of social media. Are you looking forward to the fan feedback you're going to be receiving when Cloud Parade does release here?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the feedback is always nice. I think that I had a teacher say once that you can't trust like reviews and you can't trust feedback. So I'm going to be working hard to not take it personally. Like if people love it, great. There's going to be some people that hate it. Fine. It doesn't matter. Like it's a gift for everybody who wants to receive it that way. And if it's not for you, that's totally cool. And I have some devoted fans who are absolutely incredible and support everything I do. And so really, I'm excited to put it out for those people because I know that they're going to be thrilled. And I mean, that's why I'm doing it, is for yeah, people who are going to feel it in their heart. So
Well, speaking of which, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans and supporters of the wonderful work you do, whether it's on our screens or whether it's musically?
just thank you for being there through all the twists and turns, and some of the ideations, and I'm taking risks and experimenting, and it's not always polished. So thank you for sticking with me and being excited when I'm excited, and helping me through the tough days too, because that really matters.